All right, so up to this point, we've been learning about polygons or and things like rhombuses and kites and that kind of thing. Today, we're going to make the transition into circles. Specifically, we're going to talk about those central angles and arcs of circles. But first, we need to talk about some vocabulary associated with circles. So, the first thing we have is the blank of a circle is the distance from the center of a circle to any point on the circle. And we're specifically talking about something that looks like this. Okay? And that is called a radius. So the radius of a circle is the distance from the center to any point. All right? The distance across the circle through the center, and I'm sorry for my bad drawing, we'll just say that that's the center for now, um, is called a diameter. All right, so it's called the diameter. All right, now going along with that same idea, we actually have some formulas in order to find the radius and the diameter, as well as some other information we need to know about circles before we go into what we're doing today. So the formula to find the radius is radius equals the diameter divided by 2, where r is the radius and d is the diameter. Okay? The formula for a diameter is the diameter, or d, equals 2r, where d is the diameter and r is the radius. All right? In the next video, we're going to talk more about area and circumference. But first, before we do that, we need to know some other things about circles. First is, a circle is named by its center. For example, if I have a circle here, and let's say this point in the middle is A, this circle would be called circle A. All right? All right, next, every diameter is a chord, but not every chord is a diameter. All right, a chord looks something like, it can look something like this. It's a line from one edge of a circle to another. All right, and what they're saying here is that every diameter goes through the center of the circle is a chord, but not every chord is a diameter, okay? It only goes one way. And the last bit of information we're going to learn about circles is that the diameter is the largest distance between 2 points on the circle. Okay, so for example, this line right here, the diameter is larger than this chord right here because these 2 points are the farthest away from each other on that circle. All right. So there's something called congruent circles, and we've heard that word congruent a lot this year. So congruent circles have the same radius. They are also similar circles. As with segments and angles, if two arcs of one circle have the same measure, then they are congruent arcs. Congruent arcs are also have the same arc length. All right. So that's pretty self-explanatory, just some good information here to know. We also have, this also goes into what we're talking about when we're talking about central angles. All right, so central angles are the angles that have the center of the circle for the vertex. For example, CED could be a central angle. All right, AEB, BED, all right, and AEC, which are all listed right here. The sum of all the measures of central angles will always be 360. So for example, the example I have right here is this is 40, 40, 140, 140, which equals 360. okay? Um, you can always figure out what the what some of the other central angles are if you know information. So for example, if I hadn't known that this was 40, I could have figured out that, well, this equals 320, and 360 minus 320 equals 40, and that's where I would get that 40 from. All right, so um, we have some other vocab. There's a lot of vocab in this particular section. Apologize for that. Um, we have two vocab words here. We have something called a minor arc in a circle and something called a major arc. And they are exactly the way they sound. So a minor arc is less than 180 degrees and can be identified by the two endpoints. A major arc is more than 180 degrees and can be identified by the two endpoints and one point in between. Okay, so for example, we have points A, B, and C on this circle, and we have drawn two radii here that go through the center of the circle. Now, we can name the minor arc and the major arc. In this case, the minor arc is AC because this angle right here, or this arc right here, is less than 180 degrees. All right, and then the major arc is ABC, and we can include that B in our identification because it's easier then to differentiate between the two. And that is a major arc because it is greater than 180 degrees, as you can see there. Okay? All right, the last bit of information I have for you today is called the arc addition postulate, all right? And this arc addition postulate states that the measure of an arc formed by the two adjacent arcs is the sum of the measures of the two arcs. So for example, using this picture, we could say arc AD, right here, plus arc DC equals arc AC, okay? So, a lot of good information coming at you today, a lot of vocabulary coming today, including this one postulate. Please make sure that you fully understand everything about circles that I presented today in this video. If you have any questions or are confused by anything said today, please just let me know tomorrow in your WISC and we will talk about it then. All right, have a good evening.